You are not a victim. You are not their victim. You will not be overcome by anybody or anything that was meant to take you out. So this is a topic that's very near and dear to me because when I was going through the worst time of my life, and when I've had people in my, life who I love and care about, they were going through the worst times of their life, I would always say this: there comes a point in time when you have to stop looking at yourself like a victim. And then why do I say that? The reason I say why you're not a victim is because if you put yourself in the mindset of a victim, it's almost as if you're waiting for someone else to come save you. You're waiting for someone else to come do the heavy lifting for you. And when things are happening at first, yes, okay, it's okay to kind of reach out to people and not expect them to do things for you, but kind of help you carry a little bit of the load if when things are just happening. But after a certain point, when you decide to really flip the script, flip the narrative, flip the way you view things, and you realize viewing yourself as a victim in a situation, it keeps you as the victim in that situation. It wasn't until I reframed how life was happening for me that I was able to progress and move on. So I'll just say this, just for a point of reference. I went through a really bad breakup at one point, and this person definitely betrayed, backstabbed, manipulated, all of that, like everything under the sun, just arrow after arrow after arrow. And when I was first going through it, because my emotions were high, I kept thinking about everything in the mindset of the victim. Well, how could he do this? How could this? How, just over analyzing and over, what is that word I'm thinking of? Over replaying what I was going through in my head. And then it got to the point, and this is when everything shifted. Instead of saying, well, how could he do this to me? I was saying, oh, well, how can I grow from this? How can I make this the best situation? How can I pivot this? And I have many other videos talking about how to mentally shift from one point in your life to the other. But this is the way that I've done that, is by being able to reframe even the question I asked myself. I took the focus off of how could he do that and put the focus on how can I do this? So because I was able to see that even though things were bad, I'm not necessarily a victim. You might have attempted to bury me, and I saw it as, oh, this is repositioning. This is new soil, right? When someone else tries to bury you, you need to start viewing it as this is new soil to grow in. I would have never known how strong I was had I not been attacked with the intensity that I had been attacked in. That is another way to reframe it, right? When you're going through something, you don't think, oh, well, this is meant to help me. But the moment you start doing that, then it's almost as if the question you ask yourself is the answer that's going to continue to come up for you, right? So when you're asking yourself a question in a negative light, you're going to get an answer in a negative light. But when you reframe that question in a positive light, you're going to get the positive answer to that. When you are experiencing something, I would say it is better to start shifting your mindset towards it earlier than later. It's better that way. And I'm not saying this from a point of, I did it right the first time. No, I didn't. And that's why I'm talking to you, Diamonds, about it. I didn't do right the first time. I would start to reframe it in a positive way, make a little bit of headway, make a little bit of progress. Something would trigger me. Then I would go downward spiraling in hysteria and just, focusing so much again back on what someone did or what some situation did. And it was just a constant cycle of realizing that I could do better, starting to do better, getting triggered, regressing. And it was going and going and going. And I literally had to just like have a boohoo cry session with myself and say, it's not going to get better until I get better. Like it doesn't change until I change. And I think that is the hardest part. Honestly, the hardest part about anything in life is the mental. It's the mental. Because, if you have a job you hate, you're going to still show up to that job, right? Like physically, you're going to do it. It's the mental. It's the mental. Once you can attack that, Once you can rearrange that, once you can reframe that, everything else changes. It's it's something that it's something that you can utilize different tools and resources, but if you don't ingrain that into your brain, you're going to always revert back. I found that by listening to different podcasts, listening to different motivational speeches, listening to different kind of mental evaluations on a person with with this thought process does things this way. A person with this thought process does things that way. I found that by finding people who I was inspired by, who had stories that were similar to me, who had stories that weren't nothing like me, but regardless, I was still inspired by what they were able to accomplish. By focusing on that, I was able to, one, kind of take my mind off of what I was going through and help me take me out of that victim mindset, but also restructure and reframe what I wanted to accomplish as a result of whatever I was thrown into. And you got to realize, and this is something else, the people who were betrayed, the people who were, you know, targeted, the people who others went up against, there is something powerful about that. And let me tell you something. I read this post and it said, don't allow, oh, no, it said, I've been done so wrong. I'm done now. I'm changed. And this is what I will say. This is kind of part two. You're not the victim, but what you don't do is let someone who is just absolutely beneath you, beneath where you're going, don't let their actions change your heart and who you are. If you hear me, if you are someone who is genuinely loving and you love to help people, you love to volunteer, you go through life with an open heart, don't let what someone else did close that off. Don't put yourself in a position where, this is one thing I see so much, especially with diamonds, and it's always with the diamonds. You get in a relationship and this person just does the worst to you, and you say, "Oh, I'm done with men," or "I'm done with people. I don't want to experience this anymore," and they close themselves off. Oh, this is a perfect example. I knew this woman. I used to work with her, and we were around the same age, but she was going through a lot. And she was telling me how she had a child with this man, and this wasn't her first child. She had, I think two other children. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the baby she was talking about was her third. This guy was obsessed with having children with her. And she would always say, "No, I don't want to have children. I don't want to have children." And, while she was, while things were happening, I'm trying not to get too vulgar. While things were happening, she ended up getting pregnant, and he was so excited about it. And he told her, "Yes, now you're stuck with me." And she was like, "Absolutely not." And like, "No, I got something for you." So she ends up going through the pregnancy, having the baby. And while because she had a cesarean, while she had this, she had instructed the doctor to remove her tubes. I think it was about 2 years later, once her and that person broke up, which is the crazy part in all this. Her and that person broke up. And she was telling me that she regret doing that because she wants to find love and she wants to have more children. And when I say this, why am I bringing this up? Because of how things were going in that relationship, she decided to literally remove something from her, remove something she was born with. The dust settled, that relationship's gone. Now she wants what she used to have back. This is what I'm talking about, diamonds. Don't allow what someone else is doing to you, what someone else has done to you, to change who you are and put you in a position where you can't receive what you really are desiring and deserving of, because you let someone trick you out of it and you let someone take that out of you. If you're someone who goes through life, like I said, with an open heart, and you love and you love being in a partnership, don't let a bad relationship make you cold and turn you off of that. Don't let anyone else's experience make you cold and turn you off of that. You are not anyone's victim, and no one else has the right or the authority or the dominion to write any page in your story. I love you, diamonds, and I'll talk to you soon.